So everyone that's joining on Zoom, you can see that's the fair, the what are they called? Presenters. That's all the presenters that are in the room. And so you're getting a view that I thought would be kind of fun for you all to get to see. They're setting up their tables. People are coming up to meet them, having mini sessions with them. Behind this curtain here, we're also giving some chair massages. So those are going on as we speak as well. All right, so we just have a few more minutes until the other presenters come in. So I would like all of you just to say hello. So Steve Rose, you can switch back to the FaceTime camera. And Anjali and Vatasha, why don't you two say hello and kind of get started with our day and just give us a little window into what will be happening.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Wellbeing Fair. I'm Anjali. So today we're going to be having 11 presenters that we're going to get an opportunity to ask a question or two regarding what type of services they provide, how it relates to our well-being, and how it all integrates with yoga. So they're going to be in the studio. So drop by if you can, Mukunda Studio on Folsom Street in San Francisco. And we'll get to find out more about each one here on the Empower Hour.
Thank you. And Natasha, do you want to say hello?
Hello, guys. I'm very happy to be one of the interviewers for today. We'll be asking a couple of questions to each of the presenters so we can get to know them a little bit better while they explain what their industry is in terms of well-being and health.
Awesome. Okay. Part of I'm going to wave to some of the people that are coming in. Hello, hello. Part of what we're also looking at is who has access to well-being. And so that is something we wanted to also bring up. Oftentimes we see that this is in certain spaces available to some people, or some of us think, is it available to me or is it only for some people? I'm going to wave hi to people joining. Hello. So it's just an interesting conversation that I felt like would be good for us to have as we all are coming together for this main topic today. I know it's getting close to having our first presenters. Steve, why don't you say hello to everyone as well?
Are they going to hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Steve. I go by the Steve Bros. I'm Mark's brother, and I call him the Mark Bros. So it's great to be here. I think I've been to every single Empower Hour except one. So yeah, I'm a big fan. This is a great thing. So enjoy, everybody.
Thanks to Steve Rose. And then we also have, I see Cleo there as a special guest. Good to have you here, Cleo. All right. And I see that Debbie, come on over and join our couch. So why don't you slide down next to me, Steve?
Yeah.
And then you want to just make sure you can see yourselves in the camera, or make sure you can see yourself in the camera there. Yeah. FaceTime. So here we have Debbie Pacheco. Oh, behind the orchid. There we go. We're gonna have to put that down. And Debbie, good to have you with us.
Excited.
So Debbie, here first. Why don't we just go ahead and start with some questions, and we're having Anjali and Vatasha kind of pose some of them. And Shannon, are you part of this one too? Come on in. Come here, scoot however you need so we can all kind of get, you can actually be seen on this one, so that's good.
Yeah.
We're all part of it.
Oh yeah, and then yeah, let's all keep scooting in. Great. All right, so we have Adam, and make sure you can see yourselves in that camera. Yeah, actually, Adam, you're in both. You could scoot down to this camera maybe. Nice, and then you have a little more room. That's what you. All right. All right, awesome. So not to put you two on the spot, but Anjali and Vatasha, so the two of them, they're just, you all are just arriving. They've been with me for the Empower Hours through the whole year. And this is really their first time being a co-host with me, but I'm excited that they're joining, and they came up with some questions that they wanted to ask. So you can always say pass, and then they'll say the next question. So we'll let that be a part of the day. All right, so let's see, who do we want to start with? Let's start with Debbie, since you came up first.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So one of the main questions I guess we want to know is if everybody could just get a little bit into what you offer.
Yeah, so I am a meditation and kundalini yoga teacher, and I originally trained in vinyasa yoga, and it was really difficult for me to start my journey into actually teaching my gifts because just like a lot of people, BIPOC people, I didn't feel like I had a space in the yoga industry because I didn't look like the yoga teacher, a typical yoga teacher. So it took me a while, and finally through meeting other people and really taking responsibility for my own healing, I was able to get the courage to finally show my gifts. I got an amazing scholarship for another teacher training, which is really important for people to have those opportunities. And it gave me the confidence to finally start teaching. So I teach meditation with sound healing here at Mukunda, and also kundalini yoga as well.
Cool.
Beautiful. Thank you. You mentioned that you didn't feel as if originally you could find your own like sort of a space with there being no one that was sort of like you, being the typical teacher. What are some things that you'd want people to know about yoga and meditation?
That it's accessible to everybody. And yoga and meditation is something that I think lives within you. You can actually access it. You have the power to meditate. You have the power to create energy all around you. And that there's no one size fits all when it comes to meditation and yoga and any sort of well-being. And it goes beyond just our physical body. It's really everything, energy and energy with others. So I think it's it's for everybody. It's not just for what we see on social media or on yoga journal, anywhere. So it's really for anybody, and there's all different kinds of modalities that people can find that they enjoy.
Well, I do have a question, and anyone can answer if they feel called to. How do you feel you have impacted your community, and in what ways do you feel as though your community supports you?
So let to go to Adam or Shannon.
Okay. Hi, thank you for this conversation. My name's Adam, and I used to be a school teacher, actually. And so when I was working with youth in the classroom, I happened to be, this also happened to be when I discovered Dharma and mindfulness, and just because of my own difficulties, my own inner struggles. And I think the first experience of supporting people with the practice was in an actual classroom at a school, and seeing what it was like for kids to connect to a sense of inner safety was immediately something that struck me as being important. So I think when I teach, and I don't work in the schools anymore, but when I do offer spaces, I think I try to orient to that basic sense of inner safety, the possibility of knowing that we all have that inner resource and equanimity and ease. And I just find that to be important for folks to feel and then see as being a way that they can move forward in their life with that.
Good.
And how do you feel as though your community is supporting you in what you're doing and offering this space? Do you feel like you have a hand being held by them as well?
Yeah.
So you give, you also receive?
100%, 1,000%.
Mm.
It's nothing more I care about than seeing people connect to their own wisdom and spaciousness in their heart. Energizes me a lot.
Thank you. Beautiful share.
And I'll let you two keep going. I mean, this is great. Just bring out another question. We can go right
Okay.
to it. Yeah.
Perfect. Shannon, so you work with trauma informed, right? Like massage work, is it?
Yeah.
So I guess my question for you would be, what types of work can people do at home if they're dealing with stress or moments when they feel they're unable to cope?
I'm gonna take this off so that way you can read my lips. One practice that I like to suggest to people, which sometimes I think sounds a little silly at first maybe, but is just to find a position for your body that feels good in that moment. Give yourself some time to land somewhere. And a lot of times folks think that means sitting or lying down, but it can be anything. You can have like a leg up on the edge of a couch, or like your back bent over the edge of a chair, or whatever you have at your disposal. Put your body in that position. Give yourself 15 to 20 minutes and let yourself morph into whatever shape feels best for you next. Knowing that there's no other way that you need to be. There's no wrong way to do it. I find that this really helps people to get in touch with what is going on in their body physically. It reminds them that they have a body, helps to bring them back down to where they're contacting the earth. And whenever I worked with people through this, they tend to come down a lot from like kind of a frenzied state or just a state where they're really in their head. And I think it's a great practice as an example to your question. Something that people can do on their own. It's so simple. Doesn't take very much time. You can give yourself up to like an hour, 2 hours if you want, but I usually say like 20 minutes, the good, like shortest range. But yeah, that's just one practice. I don't know if that answers.
No, that totally does. I actually relate to that. So like a while back, I was carrying a lot of grief, a lot of grief inside. And I meditate, but I always thought that, it had to be a certain way or it had to look a certain way. I mean, when you're posturing for meditation. And one thing that somebody told me, which was right in line with what you said, is that, hey, listen, when you're feeling this inside, you don't have to sit up straight to meditate. You can just take on whatever shape that looks like. If the sadness feels like you need to slump over or just let out your tears or whatever shape that is, take that shape and let it be okay and just let it flow. And then through that release is where you're sort of gonna like find yourself and give yourself like a little bit more space and grace to just be with whatever that it is. And so that was how I sort of learned to sit with those difficult emotions. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I also have a question for Miss Shannon, because I'm very interested in your work. How do you consensually lead into something that is so difficult to say that I feel a certain type of way and then relate that to my body, like to formalize that connection that maybe people aren't aware of?
You're talking about the connection between, like, for example, grief or some kind of feeling like that to the body. Yeah. I never ask for more information from the person about events or things that have happened. I try and keep it in somatics. So if someone is noticing, or if I'm noticing, maybe they're breathing faster, maybe they have their shoulders up, things like that, they're bracing against me.
I'll say, hey, I noticed this thing is going on in you. I wonder what it would be like to bring some attention there and just sit with that for a minute. Give them the space and time, not to have to be any other way, not to have to do anything with it, not have to solve it. Just let it be as it is. And then from there, I might gently suggest, what would it be like to bring, say, some breath to that? What would it be like just to lean back a little bit more and kind of letting that inform how they move from there. And so with that, I mean, I'm not like trying to probe for like more information from them about, tell me about this experience, tell me about the difficulty of your emotions for you right now. I don't want to overwhelm the nervous system with that. If they want to share, they're totally free to do that. Usually it comes out if they really want to share that with somebody. But I try and keep it to their inner bodily sensations. And then when it seems like maybe they might be getting a bit overwhelmed, I try and bring them back into the environment. Okay, so like here you are. And also, let's see what else is around you. Notice what's in the room. Is there anything that catches your eye, catches your ear? Trying to do a lot of orienting to the environment, a lot of grounding. I feel like I'm getting on a tangent. But I hope that this is addressing your question in a helpful way.
No, I love that. But basically, you're saying not to basically, because it's very complicated, but you're providing a safe space for them to allow them to work through them, not a forceful kind of a thing.
Right. Yeah. Never want to push people beyond their capacity. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all. This comes to a close. They all have to go over and do some sessions now for our attendees that are coming in. So well done. And thank you all so much and enjoy in your sessions. All right.
Thank you.
Right. We're doing pitching now. We have Navarre coming in. I didn't know if I thought I didn't even on the corner of my eye. I thought that was another one of our folks. Hello. You're welcome to come over too if you want. Okay, Lars, come on in. Yeah. All right, so we have Navarre here coming into the scene here.
How you doing? Great.
And we also have Lars coming in here. Navarre does acupuncture. Lars is a massage therapist. And we also have Emiko coming in. Emiko does facial Gua Sha for facial rejuvenation and the melt method. And we have here Vatasha in the burgundy and Anjali in the white. And they've been with the EmpowerHour the whole year. So they're going to be posing questions to you. And then we also have the Steve Bros, my brother, who's here with us. He's been on every EmpowerHour also. And so this is just a little different format than usual. But I, obviously I wanted you all to get to share and to learn about you. So they'll get a few minutes with each of you. So whichever one of you wants to start, go ahead and you'll choose who you want to ask the question to. Yeah.
Okay, so Lars, you work with massages, correct? Okay, so let's see. How do you maintain yourself when energy releases during a session with a client?
How do I make myself? Well,
Meaning do you understand the question? Okay, good.
you could expand.
I just want to make sure I understand to help support are you talking about for his experience or if the client is?
His experience in dealing with heavy energies that may release. I know with massage work, there's energy, that definitely you feel the client has, and it's sort of an exchange of energy, but the way in which you facilitate that is most often helpful for the client in releasing stored up energy. So how do you handle that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. You feel awkward having a mask on, but I get over that. Actually, the last
session I gave, or the second to last I gave, the person started to have an experience that I never experienced before. Their legs started to kind of have this spasm that went through one and the other. And at first I was like, well, this is some kind of kriya or energetic release. And then as it continued and continued, I started to get a little concerned. And so when that happens, I know now to take a deep breath, feel the connection of my feet on the ground, check in with them, what's their experience like. And he wasn't, or they weren't freaked out or anything. They were sort of observing their own unwinding. And because it's our custom for me to leave their home with them on the table to rest and sleep after the session, I just checked in and I said, I do need to leave now. I held space for about 5 to 10 minutes while this was happening. And I did think about it a lot for the next hour. I called an advisor of mine and just said, have you ever heard of this? And she said, well, it sounds like a kriya. It sounds like an energetic release. And I said, well, yes. And so I eventually, I thought, I'm going to call him back in an hour. And I thought to myself, I don't need to do that. I'm going to call him in 2 hours. I called and he said, oh yeah, right after you left, it stopped. And now I know, after working with somebody with who gets into an expanded state, and or even almost, I'd say just about everyone, I'll sage myself. I will go out and be barefoot on the ground just to ground myself, and possibly say a prayer. So, I know now that I need to do that, because I didn't realize that as a younger body worker, and I would get these bizarre injuries and my mood would shift and stuff like that. So I know, or even taking like a crystal and kind of clearing my energy. A shamanic friend taught me something which I use in extreme cases, which is to spit in the 4 directions. And I find that it's a little intense. I don't often need to call in that tool, but I realize that having a broad palette of tools, whether it's simply feeling the feet, taking a deep breath, always checking in with their experience, or taking it to the next level, spitting in the 4 directions, and some crystal healing.
Thanks, Lars.
Thank you. Just maybe to piggyback off of that really quickly is when you mentioned the crystals, do you ever have any crystals in your space, your workspace, that help with absorbing some of those energies?
Just beginning to imagine how to do that, but I don't. I'm going to talk more to Gautam about it.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal table, but I'm not super proficient with that medicine yet. I do have some crystals, but I'm not that proficient.
Your necklace.
Well, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can wear certain crystals on yourself, and tourmaline's a really good one. I'm into crystals a lot, so that's why I asked that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Typically have the tourmaline on down here as well, and smoking sport, all that stuff. So yeah.
Thank you.
And I have another like general question, so that I'm not putting anyone on the spot. But when you're encountering clients who come to you for external issues, how do you help them cope with the internal issues that may arise that may be the cause of the external issues?
This is being posed to one of our other guests, right? Yeah.
Yes, anyone who feels called to answer.
Could you ask it again? It was a good question.
So many of you guys, you worked with external issues. So when you have an external issue, sometimes people think, oh, all I have to do is just fix that one thing on the outside of my body and I'll be fine. When sometimes it's something within you, an internal issue that is presenting itself externally. So, how do you help to navigate that?
I can take this one. I'm Emiko, and I work with the melt method and facial Gua Sha, and using going through the fascial system. We say often the issues are in your tissue. So when people start to work with their connective tissue and start to release some deeper emotional things that are in there, we call it a healing challenge, right? They may feel a little bit worse before they feel better. So I always let my clients know, hey, this might come up, right? If you've been having a lifelong issue of, chronic hip pain or shoulder pain, and no one else seems to be helping you, it could be something that got lost or lodged in there because of some emotional event or emotional trauma. So to have more self-empathy for yourself and to realize that this is a journey, and it may not go away overnight, but once you start to open it up, the emotional issues have to move through you in order for you to really physically heal, as well as start that emotional healing. So letting them know, hey, it's okay. It might be kind of scary at first, but we want to treat you as a whole person, not just as, muscles and bones and tissue.
Can you say specifically about the melt method? What is it? Because you showed me a little bit, but I'd love just to hear a little bit about what that modality looks like.
So the melt method was designed by Sue Hitzman about 20 years ago. And it uses these small specialized rubber balls and a specialized foam roller, which really isn't a foam roller, it's more of a rubber roller. So much more gentle and easy on the body and connective tissue. And we're working with the health of the connective tissue to release stuck stress, whether that be just by living in a body, right? You might have shoulder or low back pain, or if you're working through injuries or surgeries, or have emotional things coming up that are lodged in and manifesting as maybe low back or shoulder pain. So working with the connective tissue to manifest more overall wellness for your body, since all of the important fluids of your body run through your connective tissue. It's not just there to hold your organs in and protect your organs, that's part of it, but also coming at it from a way is how can we support the other systems, better lymphatic fluid flow, release of waste, bringing better energy and food into all the cells so that you can sleep better, digest better, have your hormones running through more easily, right? So you want to clear the clog in the highway, so to speak, of your connective tissue.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. And then another question we'll pose to Navar. Navar is our acupuncturist for the reproductive health and pediatrics. This is such a thing because they don't get to meet you in person. So there's this whole virtual thing where they're like, on the computer. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and connect with Navar.
Okay, Navar, thank you. Let's see. How do you build your well of peace so that you make a comfortable, empty space to allow others to be open to healing?
That's such a juicy question. I have, daily practices that I come in and out of for myself in terms of maintaining kind of a grounded, open-hearted space within myself so that can then kind of open up to whatever space I'm inhabiting. So some of those practices that I find so vital to maintaining that space for me are yoga and the meditation practice, and being in nature, being outside and really getting full body breathing happening and allowing the energy to move through in a smooth way.
So that also includes, for me, getting acupuncture regularly, and really taking care of myself, eating well, all the self-care rituals that we can cultivate to keep ourselves feeling centered and open. So those are kind of some of the practices that I use for myself. And then in terms of creating a space for people to come into that is really conducive to their own embodiment of groundedness and openness and awareness, self-awareness. I find it really important just to create a space that's clear, clear energetically, but also visually, to bring, some elements of beauty in, but also just to keep it really soft and open that way. And then doing, space cleansing rituals as well, whether that's, even just simple hand washing to kind of clear energy, lighting a candle, I find super, super helpful. There are some protocols and practices in acupuncture where we actually drain negative energy out of people's experience. And then that, it's an energy release. So it like puts that into the space. And so my teachers really emphasize lighting candles because fire has such an ability to alchemize that energy. And
yeah, that makes sense. I've heard that, like, is water also a really good way to release energy? Like, if the practitioner, say you yourself, is drinking like a lot of water, does energy move better that way, in addition to lighting the candle, keeping a very neutral space, but yet grounded?
yeah, absolutely. Hydration is so important for all of our systems, but I think that in particular. And I've also noticed too that, I studied midwifery for many, many years. And whenever I was at a really long or kind of intense or hard birth, coming home, if I showered right after that, I could like go on with my regular day. But if I didn't shower, I'd be so weighted down by that experience and that energy. So I think especially just in in my practice where multiple patients throughout the day and you can't just shower after everyone. Hand washing is really important.
Hand washing. And do you wear any crystals?
I do.
Okay.
Often.
Yeah.
Anjali's on the crystal path here.
That's right. Thank you, Navar.
All right, thank you all so much. So this is our time, and it was great to have all three of you in this, and great questions that you're asking, great answers. And I know you have sessions to get to, so thank you so much, and I'll see you back out there. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
So Steve, if you want to say hi or anything, thoughts coming to mind while we have a transition.
Steve Bros, jump in.
Come on in.
Yeah, so I'm seeing some themes here. One of the things that kind of is interesting me today is the release of energy in the acupuncture and the massage areas. And yeah, so I kind of learned like lighting a candle and then using water is a really great way to disperse energy. And I had not really thought about that before. So I'm glad to know about it. And then if you do have the luxury to take a shower to release some energies, I mean, you could probably do it at the end of your workday, at least. So those are three things I'll carry with myself: fire, water, and showers, staying hydrated to release energy.
And crystals.
Yeah, and basically, when you think about it, it's all the elements, right? Even air too. You can utilize the breath in order to release energy from the body or different sensations or things that might be going on. So it's really just integrating all those elements there. I love it.
Yeah, and then that is good. I like that you brought in the breathing to make it more portable.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. So now, thank you. All right. So now I'm excited to bring in Shireel and Gautam. So we are on Instagram Live on the phone there, so you can say hi there.
Hi,
And then you have also there on the laptop, that's our Zoom folks. So I want to introduce you to Anjali, which Gautam knows, both Anjali and Vatasha from the BIPOC teacher training. And then Shireel, Anjali on the far left, and Vatasha will probably come back on in just a moment. There she is. And this is my brother, the Steve Bros.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
So here we are. And the way we've been formatting this is just Anjali and Vatasha are going to ask you a question. And then if you're happy with it, you can answer it and you can say pass. And then they'll ask you the next one. Okay.
So I think to start it off, we'd love it if each of you would tell us a little bit more about the services that you provide.
Okay, all right. My name is Sherelle Washington, and I am the principal of Exalted Natural Body Care Botanicals. And we specialize in custom crafting herbal solutions to support the body. I'm also an herbal teacher here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I teach at a couple of herbal certification programs, Land of Verse. I also teach in community classes at Scarlet Sage. I also teach at the Northern California Women's Herbal Symposium in their workshops and intensives. And in addition, I also have my own client base where I custom craft herbal solutions to help support their health needs. And I'm also a longtime dancer. Longtime dancer for over 40 years, and I teach at Deep Roots Center for Spiritual Studies in Oakland. And I direct the Move, Spirit, and Rhythm program where I offer classes in beginning level modern. I teach morning qigong, and I am a person of hula for over 15 years. And so that's pretty much, hula has been the most transformative of my movement practice. And I also teach Pan-African dance as well.
Wow.
Wow, Sherelle, gosh.
I think the whole fair is right here.
The whole entire our lives, like seriously, all of us.
It covered 25% of what you do online. It's
Say that again, Vatasha.
I said I was only able to uncover 25% of what you do online. It is amazing and magical. I am always blessed to be in such company. I do have a question. So through all the services that you do provide, I know that you sometimes encounter the inability for people who need the help to pay. So how do you find yourself during those moments?
Oh, is that
That's for you.
For me? Okay. You know, I do it case by case. And, you know, I do believe that my practice is to make this accessible to everybody. And so I have done that. I have, you know, if people don't have it and they need it, I'm not going to tell them no. You know, I'm going to figure out a way to offer and to make it available. It's because one of the things that I do try to help change is that wellness is not for a certain economic bracket. And unfortunately, that's the way it's been presented. And that's why I just want to pause and say, I'm so grateful for what Mukunda is doing. This festival is so awesome because that's one of the things that he and I really connected on, is that how can we make this work accessible? And the fact that here at this fair, there's so many other people of color that have the same mindset. So yeah, I'm not going to refuse someone if they can't afford it or don't have the money. Tell me what you need anyway, and let's see how we can make it work and see how I can serve, because this is an act of service. It's not about me getting famous or getting whatever. This work is about serving the people and helping to meet their needs. Even in dance, it's an act of service, you know, and so I make it happen. If they say, oh my God, I don't have it, no worries. I'm going to help give you what you need, and then, you know, we're going to take it from there.
Thank you. That is a beautiful offering to give to those that need.
I want to jump in too, because I think that there's a challenging line on that for how do we make sure we're having enough? Like if we, and that's where I've had, you know, I've struggled, and even having this space, it's like, okay, there's a certain amount that I do offer for free, but then how do I inside myself know to keep a kind of a safety net or enough, you know, so I'm not just pouring out everything. So I'm always curious how others deal with it, because I know how I do. And I mean, a lot of it is faith based, but I'm also just curious, yeah, how else we
I want to go into right now. Okay.
walk on in.
Well, I think how I've dealt with it and is asking questions. Firstly, checking in with myself. I do trust my energy and how I feel about the relationship. And I feel that by being clear on the expectations, on what's free, and also demonstrating the value of my service. And when I do offer my services, I notice that the recipient is experiencing benefits immediately at that moment. So the value is ascertained. If they see the value, then it's pretty much of an even exchange. If I have to explain myself continually, then I do know that energetically this isn't going to work. And then I use that as a metric to then gently and extremely conscientiously create opportunities for how we can look at other opportunities. So that's how I do it.
It's very thoughtful.
I wanted to say, I really appreciate what you said about asking questions as a metric. And I think that's really, really important is because anyone can come in and say, I don't have any money. And it's like, okay, what do you do with that? But if you ask more questions, and then like Mark, you were saying, that also helps to maintain your safety net. That helps you to know, okay, this person, like you said, I can trust, or again, and also that is an energetic exchange. There is energy being exchanged and it's felt. So that's one of the things I love about Qigong is that you've noticed not only your energy, but even other people's energy. And so you can like, okay, there's something here that seems really honest and true, and I can trust, and I can engage in that level. So that's the faith piece that kicks in too. There's all these different places where that kicks in order to help you discern when it's time to make that service free and when you need to say no. I have to refer you to someone else, and I brought another resource for you to assist because, like you said, Mark, we have to eat. We have to live, you know, and so that's really important to both of you.
Yeah, the mantra that I actually live by, that my mother taught me, and it's proven true all the time, is 3 whys will always get you to the truth, either with yourself or with someone. So give it a try. And I think, as you were saying, the elements are really essential to get you into center. That again is a line of inquiry that can help you either amplify what you need or to release what you need to let go. So simple.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, I want to give Gautam a little focus. What whoever is going to shift to that question.
So Gautam, I know crystals came up quite a bit with the other practitioners. So I was just wondering if maybe you could suggest some crystals that were good for keeping a space energetically clear, grounded, just overall.
So I definitely feel that crystals are the energy of Mother Earth and all from the universe because they're representative of all the elements. And I like to keep my life simple. What I recommend is in terms of the energy is balance, right? You want to bring your space, your person, your community into balance. And we live in polarity. So there's bringing that mixture into balance. Selenite, and I have some here, so if anybody wants to come in for alignment, that's great, is just wonderful in getting yourself into alignment. It's white, it's typically not that expensive, it's easily accessible. You just don't put it in water. And whether you energetically feel something or not, just having it or holding it, I have a wand, but you can get smaller ones for under $10. It gets whatever energy that you've depleted in check. and it works wonders. So that's what I call it, my salt. Black tourmaline is what I call my everyday pepper in a way, but it's a great way of just keeping it there. Anything that's unwanted can go right there. So that's my essential go-to kit. But if you want to go a little bit further and have fun with it, take a color wheel and, you know, identify how you're feeling, you know, like, oh, I'm feeling anger or red, or, you know, what colors are coming. And you want to like go into like a higher vibration. Well, what's the opposite of that? And how do you integrate that? So that's your easy way, you know, the opposites in terms of color. Just a caveat there. I mean, if you want to, you know, use a certain thing, or, you know, you don't want to like, oh, I'm feeling anger, and then go towards like more of those red and warmer crystals. You're just going to amplify it. But sometimes you can use anger constructively. So there you go. It just depends. But that's your word of caution. You know, you're feeling kind of low and mellow, and you know, you have more of the moody blues. You don't want to add more of that, you know. So that's it. So it depends on your state of mind also, and then you can choose colors.
The color wheel, that was very helpful. I never would have thought of that. Thank you for sharing that. The selenite I love selenite. It's one of my favorite crystals to work with. I usually sit with one in meditation, and I keep them also, the logs that you were talking about, I keep them in my windowsills, like all around the house. And it sort of calms down the energy in the room and also feels like a little bit of a guardian. And I love that. Thank you for that.
You're right on with that.
Can we ask questions?
Well, we gotta close. You know, we're done. I know. I wish. Well, you're right next door.
Okay, and you can find me at gemsofclarity.com. Thank you.
And how can we find you, Cheryl?
Yes, Cheryl, how can we?
You can find me on Instagram at Exalted Natural Body Care and Botanicals. And I'm also on Instagram as Exalt. And you can also find me on Facebook under Exalted Natural Body Care. Website's coming soon. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for this.
Thank you. Yes. All right.
Bye.
Enjoy your time in the fair.
I had so many more questions for the both of them.
Oh.
Like poll again and give them longer times. But we're welcoming in our next group. We have Narelle and anybody else. Who was that? Huh? Well, come on in. Well, maybe this gives us a little moment to chat a bit. So I don't know if the Steve Bros had any thoughts, or we have a little casual moment here amongst ourselves while we wait.
Yeah, I've got some thoughts.
Yeah, the Steve Bros will share a couple thoughts.
So a few cycles back, a few people back, we talked about I think making meditation more accessible. And I really like, I think it was Shannon who said, it's like, take any position that you want. Lying down, leg up on the couch, you know, leaning to the side, sitting up straight. So it's like, you don't always have to sit erect to be meditating. So that was really helpful. So yeah, whatever position you're comfortable with, whatever position you might transform into while you're meditating, that's fine. Yeah. So
the key thing is not to get so comfortable that you
Right.
that
Absolutely.
happen. But I love that it was more a way of grounding and being able to allow yourself to
Release.
feeling, if you're feeling some overwhelm or anxiety, or something's happening, you don't feel in the body, you know, getting yourself to center and ground in that way, then you might be able to bring yourself into a supported position for meditation where there is a sort of a balanced center. But yeah, not to feel like it's a rigid thing, right? I think that was her kind of her offering with that.
yeah.
Okay, good. Well, here we have, so we now have Kinjal and we have Narelle, and Narelle offers restorative yoga. And I think you do some other things too, but that's what we're talking about today.
Yes,
But you're
yes.
welcome to share others. And then, as many of you know, Kinjal from other Empower Hours Kinjal teaches yoga here at Mukunda Studio and also at the center, and teaches meditation and does counseling with nutrition, life coaching, and Reiki. So what we're doing here today is, oh, and this is my brother, the Sea Bros, if you haven't met him. And so this has kind of been our Empower Hour group that we've been meeting all year. And Vatasha and Anjali are going to be posing questions to kind of help offer this part of the session. So take it away, ladies. And humans.
So I was just going through, I'm sorry.
Take a moment.
So the modality I'm very unfamiliar with is that of restorative yoga through sleep. This is the first time that I've read about it and learned through it, your Instagram stories. So if you could explain a little bit how you got into this and what called you to this line of yoga.
Yeah, so hello everyone, my name is Nairel and I'm a restorative yoga teacher. And you know, I started off as a vinyasa teacher. I did my 200 hour, it was a vinyasa based 200 hour, and I taught vinyasa for quite a while. And I'm also a scientist and I do a lot of work. I grind a lot, and you know, grinding at work and then grinding at yoga. Somehow, somewhere, I just got really, really burned out. And then I went into restorative yoga and also a little bit of mindfulness and meditation. And that really helped me not only to rest, but just to learn how to take care of myself. The way that I was taught restorative yoga, there was definitely a mindfulness aspect to it. And it wasn't just, okay, set yourself up and then go to sleep. But it was really set yourself up, support yourself, you know, take a moment to just notice where there might be some uncomfortableness. And then how can you support yourself, whether it's through a pose or maybe even just giving yourself a hug? Like, how can you just take care of yourself in that moment? And that's really what restorative yoga taught me, helped me recover from burnout, and just continues to teach me how to take care of myself, to have boundaries, and just to be kind of just in touch with what's going on the outside, but also on the inside.
I love that, especially in the culture that we're in right now, where we're all trying to take note of ourselves and maybe slow down our process of too much, to take a moment to realize what we need from the too much is also balance.
I, again, just kind of the life that I live, there is some kind of grind to it. And so I find myself always trying to almost resist that grind. Like, everybody wants me to go faster and be more productive, but how can I resist that so that there's an aspect of sustainability for my own life, right? So that was something that restorative yoga just really taught me how to be in tune. Like, okay, am I grinding right now? How can I just kind of resist it and kind of just like put a little bit of space in between that?
I love that.
Thank you for your share.
Hey, Kinjal. Hi. So I guess maybe if you could tell us a little bit more about what you do. I know that you are a yoga instructor at Mukunda Studio, and you also recently did a chakra series. So maybe you could talk a little bit more about chakras and how we can work with our energy centers, keep ourselves clear. Seems to be the other theme of the day is people burned out. And so how do we recognize that state? How do we clear it? And how do we keep ourselves sort of leveled out as we're going through the different phases of our lives?
Yeah, great question. And kind of echoing to what Naira shared earlier, right?
we live, and I feel this is so prevalent in the Bay Area, that, oh, if you're not hustling, you're not good enough. And we've normalized a lot of states of dis-ease in our body. Like, for example, oh, I have a headache, pop a Tylenol. We don't even pause to think, why is my head hurting frequently? And kind of going through my own health journeys, I discovered that doing yoga physical practice or asanas is great, but then there is something that is still missing. I don't feel that great. And learning more about the yogic philosophy led me to understanding the chakra system better. And there are more than 100 chakras in the body, but there are 7 main chakras that line up along the main energy channel of the body. And without going into too many details, but there are different levels of the body, physical body, energetic body, intellectual body, emotional body, and then there is a conscious body. And we mostly just focus on the physical body, but when we think about it, chakras, which start from the root chakra at the base of the spine and go on to the 7th chakra, which is the crown, are associated with energies, but also are physically associated with different organs. So, for example, if your solar plexus is weak, a physical manifestation of that could be you always have digestive issues, either too constipated or going like way more times a day, or not able to digest food, all different kinds of things, right? Emotionally, it could result into either a lack of self-esteem or being arrogant or too egotistical, because the identity associated with the solar plexus is the ego. So when we understand all of that, we understand ourselves better. And then we know, oh, interesting, my solar plexus is underactive, but my heart chakra is balanced. Or it might be impacted with an underactive solar plexus. So there might be hints like, if I meet people, I might be resistant, I might not trust them. And that could be because of my own solar plexus being weak, because I don't trust myself, so I don't trust other people. So that can happen. So with meditation, journaling, and breath work, focusing on each chakra can really help balance your body and heal, of course.
That was beautiful. Thank you. That was jam-packed with information. It would take a long time to unpack all of that. I wish we had more time, honestly.
Same thing. Yeah. I was like, this is why there was a 7-week course. Yeah.
I just really wanted to touch on it though, because it's so powerful and it's really information that if we throw it out there to our listeners, they can delve into it at another time.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, that was great. Well, we have Olivier is not here to join us. He actually woke up with a fever. So we're having our 2 Kinjal and Nirel to round out this session. So if you want to ask another question of them, you're welcome to, or if the Steve Bros, you have a question that you are thinking of.
So with both of your practices, it seems as though you guys are incorporating different modalities into not only your self-practice as well as what you teach. So in that sense, how important is it to source your materials properly? So say I want to take a yoga class. How important is it to know that the teacher aligns with me? Or I want to go get crystals. How important is it that they source them properly?
As somebody who is a scientist, I just say, go for it and be curious. Have an open mind. Ask lots of questions. I have lots of questions I always ask everybody, including myself, right? Including in my restorative yoga practice. I'm just going through this process of asking this body scan of like, what's going on, what's going here, and just asking those questions, doing a little bit of research. So, not going fast and trying to dive deep into something really, really quickly, taking your time, taking it slow, let things process and ask questions, be curious, be open. So take that time, and then, whatever feels like it really resonates with you, go for it. If there is something that doesn't resonate with you, or I tell students, if there is even a part that feels even the littlest bit uncomfortable, notice that and see where that's coming from. So that's what I would say about that.
Yeah. I like the idea of asking questions. And then the other thing is, I always check where, if I am sourcing my information from somewhere, where is it coming from and what is the intention of that person or the school or institution, whatever it is, because I want to make sure that I do reflect who I truly am. And I will always say to people too that, hey, I am also constantly on the path of learning and I may make mistakes, but I want you to tell me that, oh, if I say something that didn't resonate or didn't make sense, call me out. And reminding each other, right, that doing so compassionately, but also we do want to check if we're kind of unintentionally sourcing from a place that doesn't respect or give true reverence to whatever modality it is. So
Great.
Thank you, because I always want to exercise caution, because given the popularity these days, there seems to be a lot of people that are only half-heartedly in this, generally for monetary gains. And with all of these beautiful practices that we do have, it's very easy to get pulled in the wrong direction.
yeah, I agree. And that's the other thing. I remember when I did my yoga teacher training, one of the teachers said that be careful, teach truly with the idea of being in service, because it can quickly become that thing that, oh, making money, how many students I'm getting. So constantly checking myself to remind myself and see, am I still on that path where I truly want to be in service? And that is why I'm doing this.
Amen.
Good one.
Yeah.
Well, that comes to our time with the two of them, and I know they have sessions to go back to. So thank you both for
Thank you both.
our hour. I hope you come again another time when we do this. It'll start all over again next year. So, all right. Well, thank you, and we'll see you. I'll see you back out in a moment. Yeah. There we go. All right. So that is our list of presenters. And what I wanted to do now with our remaining time is just, since you all have been part of the core team, partly, first of all, I guess I should say, if we had any thoughts to kind of wind down from this Empower Hour, but to also just talk about what we've done for this whole year, because I'm really honored that you all have been with me through these, and I feel changed and inspired by all of these talks that we've been doing, and just to have been able to get to know Vatasha and Anjali better, since I only know you through this little square or rectangle on the screen. It's really been cool to have this experience, and also, of course, to share this with my brother as well. So let's just take a moment if you have anything to bring closure to this Empower Well-Being Fair, and then any closing thoughts that you might have from our whole year together.
Yeah, no, so I'm just really grateful to have been a part of this. Thank you so much. I can't believe that it's been the whole year. It's December, it's the end of 2022, and we're about to enter a new year, and it's just been really, really incredible. I did jot down some notes that I shared with Vatasha regarding our Empower Hours for the entire year. And I realized if we go back to January, where we had 100% mixed was our topic in January, remember that one? Where we basically got to talk about being of mixed races and different cultures. And that was incredible. February, we went over our story versus history, honoring Black History Month. So that was awesome. March was We March, Women's History Month. April was Eating the Planet, Recognizing Earth Month. That was a good one. May, What's Your Slant? That too. June, Living Truth, Living Proof, Recognizing LGBTQIA plus Pride Month. Vatasha? July?
May, What's Your Slant was recognizing AAPI month. Yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Vat-
Through all of these, what I realized is that I don't know anything. And I think that is possibly the best thing in the world, that there's this whole world and all of these people and opinions and thoughts and topics and it's beautiful that I'm starting everything with basically a fresh face and like a different level of understanding. Like this wellness fair, I am more than honored to even just be sitting here because this is a beautiful thing that you've put together. I love this. I absolutely do. And I want this to be a thing all of the time. And I don't know how to make it a thing every day. But I just feel that it's very important to have conscientious conversations to say that we're well in one way and we may not be well in another, because all of our wellness is tied together in so many different ways. And it's not just one thing, it's everything. And it's just the light that needed to be shined in this direction. And I thank you for giving us the opportunity to shine that light.
And to give out in these community discussions, each and every topic that we've had throughout the year were all topics that we needed to go deeper, we needed to talk about. And hopefully next year we can go further.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to that. I think it's so much based on how much we've bonded too. And now I think to be able to keep the conversations we've already had, I think they will just kind of keep dropping in to those deeper spaces. And I love what you said, Vatasha. In many ways, rather than sticking with what we think we know is the answers to all these things, is to all of a sudden be like, you know what? Being more open to questions and new ideas is, I feel like, would help this whole world if that were the place that people would get to. Were you going to go down the list of the other months?
Yeah,
I want to remind all.
Yes. So July was With Freedom and Equity, with Liberty and Justice for All. August was Wellness. September was Inspiring Minds, Do We Want to Know? October, Frightened by the Truth, Soothed by the Illusions. November, Why We Don't Stop Believing. And December, which we're in, is the Empower Hour inside of the Wellness Fair.
Very cool.
Oh, we got a low battery.
I know, we're about to finish because yeah.
Yeah, so it's been great being a part of this, and I love having sharing this with my brother and with Anjali and Vatasha and everyone. So I think this is really important work, but the great thing about it, it doesn't feel like work. So it's so enjoyable. It opens up so many avenues. It's opened up so many avenues of my mind and health. Again, with the Vatasha, like, I don't know. The more I know, the more I learn, the more I don't know. Keeping an open mind. And then this wellness fair today, like seeing all the presenters and all of us here being together, it made me think like, wow, this is amazing. There's this whole, I think I'm like from day to day, I'm kind of more in like a normal kind of phase. I'm thinking about, how can I, make enough money? Am I doing the right things? And it's just really mundane. Then I meditate, I do yoga. But seeing this wellness fair, this is like a whole nother universe where there's people who are actually working on people being healthy and well and really caring about it. So this is amazing. Like, to me right now, like, I'm seeing this whole other universe of caring, well-being people. And it just like we've all been saying, this kind of stuff that Mukunda is working on, and my brother, I call him the Mark Bros, is working on. It's so great that we've got to be a part of this in this way. And I think, like Anjali was saying, kind of also look for it to expand. So I think we've really broken into a really beautiful space. And I think we're going to be able to easily expand it in 2023.
Yeah. I wish we could have been there in person to see what you're seeing, Steve Bros, but I feel like we truly were a part of this. I really appreciated having all the presenters come and take their time to sit and talk with us. So I just want to thank you guys again for any few minutes that you gave us. I know you guys are busy over there, and Steve Bros, we really appreciate you. I want to tell you that. You know why? Because you've been with us from the beginning, and in the beginning you were just coming to our community discussions, and you were sitting so quietly, and then you blossomed, you just opened up over this whole entire year, and I love that. It's beautiful. It's been a beautiful thing. So air hugs to both of you because we love you, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So funny, because that's how it started out. I was like, I don't know anything. I don't want to look like, somebody who's, unintelligent. And I kept quiet and I kept quiet. And then eventually this kind of format, I think, will cause anybody, even an introvert, to blossom, like you said, and come out and say some things.
I do a comment that someone who was on the show before said. They said, I've never felt seen or heard, or that my opinion actually mattered. To say something in a way that he felt his opinion was respected. And that is something that some people never get, because this world just isn't built that way. So and I don't know how many times I can express gratitude and thank you for just offering this space that is what it for us all.
Community. It brought us all together.
Yeah, I think next year we need to figure out some kind of funding to get Anjali and Vatasha out here in person for the next Wellbeing Fair.
Absolutely. We'll try for that.
Or the Wellbeing Fair goes on the road and we come to a city near you.
I love that.
That would be amazing.
Well, thank you all. This has been kind of surreal for me as well to have had you all on this journey as co-creators, facilitators, and friends and family, just to be able to go deeper into these topics that I know for me since 2020 and kind of the epiphany that's come from a lot of the pain we've been in. It helped me recognize there's something that we can do about this. And some of it is coming together to talk, have conversation, to make space for one another, to educate, because I think that's been a big part of what's happened here is a lot of folks just aren't as conscious or as open to some new conversations around old situations and to be able to even learn how to take a healthy and grounded ownership of our situations feels important, which is why I talk about these as Empower Hour. I want us to have this time together where we feel empowered to use our voice to stimulate this kind of thinking and community building. It's not something where we disconnect and become passive, but we actually take our talents, and they're all different. Everybody has theirs, and once we come in more into our own and recognize what they are, I think that that can inspire us to bring that service to the world in whatever way that is, you know, it's meant to be. And it's not a one size fits all, as somebody mentioned earlier, and what it's like to have well-being. It's meant for all of us to thrive. And I remember learning that, or sorry, hearing that in a film. I think it was Forks Over Knives, or one of those films where they were like saying, you know, we're oh no, it's a film called Thrive. There's a film called Thrive. And it said, and this woman said, you know, that is our birthright. We are meant to thrive. But unfortunately, our world and our culture and those who are focused on power and money and capitalism, and that it's not in their interest to imagine that everybody can thrive. It's in their interest to put people down and for people to not know and to feel less than. And that helps this world function in that imbalanced way, where those who have power and an ability to move and change things can do it with manipulation rather than from a place of love. So I am just ever more inspired because of the input you've brought, and the steadiness we've had. I feel that it's a movement. We've created this little movement. So I'm excited to see it keep going into the new year. I know Anjali and Vatasha, we've talked about what will that look like and how are we going to do this? What will be the same? What will be different? So I'm excited for us to talk more about that. We'll get some input from the Steve Bros, and we'll go from here. So join us all next month for January's Empower Hour. We'll see where we go. And until then, from all places of my heart, thank you for being, you know, interested in this and for helping me share these. And for everybody else who's watched, and for everybody in Instagram land and IG Live, I'm going to keep saying hi to some people coming in. Thank you so much. This is going to be recorded and we get to share this again. This will be, eventually we'll have all of these Empower Hours on the mukundastudio.com website, so people can learn and watch our journey, watch our unfolding. Okay, so thank you all. In closing, let's just say, may the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. And may the light of truth overcome all ignorance.
Victory to that light. Jai Shri Sakaru Maharaj Ki. Jai. Jai, everyone.
Hey, Jai.
See you later.
We'll give a quick view of the fair again. So can you switch to the Mevo camera? So the Steve Bros is going to show you how the fair room. So we'll just sort of get a little glance in there again. People moving around.
Yeah,
Studio.
there's more people in there.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this laptop while you have the Steve Bros there. And I'm going to go ahead and, I can't. We've got to take that laptop. So we'll take this laptop with us and kind of do a quick walkthrough of the fair, so you can see some of the other areas. So thanks to Steve Bros, you can walk through if you want.
Can we also, as you pass the presenters, have them let us know where we can find them, like what their social media handles are?
Yeah. We don't have sound. Oh, there you go.
No.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to hear, right? I think what we might have to do in terms of, oh, look, the drinks bar. What we might have to do, the sound is a little hard to hear, but what we might have to do is underneath, once the video is posted, we'll make sure that we get the information for all the presenters below the video in the box below. Hi, Liza. We'll make sure we list all their websites below the video so that anyone who's watching can have access to any of the services that they provide.
You couldn't hear any of that. I'm so sorry.
We couldn't, but that's okay. We were narrating above it. So.
Well, that was Eliza saying hi.
Hi, Liza.
All right. And then here is Tim. Amazing Tim. it weren't for Tim, we wouldn't be here. So thank you, Tim. And there's the Ganesha statue. Yay. This is the meditation zone. There's not a session. Oops. And the battery just maybe died. Uh-oh, I think something happened. Uh-oh,
I can still hear you.
You can hear me? Oh.
Yes. You can still see and hear you.
Well,
you're muted.
Go ahead and close. I think that other battery just died.
Okay.
But good timing. Glad that worked out. All right. Well,
enjoy the rest of the fair.
Hey.
Rose, say bye-bye.
Rose. Peace, beautiful beings. See you later.
Bye-bye.
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 Oh. Bye.
Bye.